July, especially in the Western Pacific where you have a lot of islands, a lot of tropical heat available. Afternoon pop-up thunderstorms, just a general thing that you often see, especially going through July and August. But what we also start to see is more and more typhoons. Take a look at our graph over the course of the year. On average, about 2 typhoons or tropical storms in June. Going into July, it jumps up to about 4.5. August, at the max, 6.6. But going through July, that's when we see more and more. Why do I say that? Well, we're going through, the mid to early part of July now, and we have our newest tropical depression, which is expected to become a tropical storm within the next 24 hours, just north of Guam here. Current radar out of Guam shows nothing exciting. You have to look a little bit farther north of Saipan to really see the heavy stuff. We take a look at the satellite imagery provided by NOAA here, and you can really see the circulation around this storm. It's in the northern Marianas that you're really starting to see that heavy amount of rainfall, though. Also, you're going to be seeing some high waves come out of this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see waves up to about 3 to 4 meters high for any boats venturing out here, especially going from Guam up towards Japan. But the key thing I want you to note on this is just look at the really well-defined circulation. Now, this storm system, we have really been watching it for quite some time, nearly about 5 to 6 days now. Was an upper level low spinning up here just towards the east of the Mariana Islands. But then what we often see, especially once this gets involved with the tut out here, it gets that really warm sea surface temperatures, low vertical wind shear over top of the storm system. All those factors start to combine, and what do we see? We see that upper level low work down to the surface, starts to spin up, and then, well, now we're going to be dealing with our newly tropical storm. Next name for it's going to be Soulik, as it does develop up here into the next 24 to 48 hours. Right now a tropical depression, but likely going to be a tropical storm as we go through the day on Monday. Where is it going to be going? That is the question. Well, this is a little graph or a little map I threw together here. We have the Westpac high off here towards the north. The storm system, remember with tropical systems, they want to run downhill towards lower pressures. That means this is not going to go in that direction. Water does not flow uphill, and neither do tropical storm systems. They're going to continue to flow down here. What it looks like it's going to do right now, it's really kind of be a straight runner farther towards the north, then push off there towards the southern Japanese islands, towards Taiwan. Northern Luzon, I wouldn't even take you out of it quite so much, but really where I drew here in that green dashed line, that's where I do think that this is likely going to be going, given the information right now. Taking a look at streamline analysis, we can see that as well, a very high and intense high pressure out there towards the north, that's going to push off there towards the west, wrap around, really just follow along the western periphery of that Westpac high before moving off there towards the northeast. Remember, this wavers up and down. If it wavers more, if it builds in some more, because, well, you have that stationary front off there towards the north, which is actually weakening. So given that, it should actually lift a little bit farther off towards the north. But if it does build in some more, then this will move farther down there towards Luzon. If it does what I think it's going to do and lift a little, then really that storm's going to stay on that westerly track, pushing off there towards Taiwan, or even around Miyako-jima, and possibly Okinawa. And I know when we have a newly forming storm system, I do say possibly quite often, just because a lot of factors do come into play here. But right now, this is given the model consensus as far as the track. This is actually the CMC, UK, and the GFS, I do believe, all pulling it off there, right there into the extreme southern portions of the Japanese islands, northern Taiwan, even Taipei getting some heavy rainfall out of this before it pushes off there towards the China East Coast. Now let's take a look at the gander at some of the intensity models here as far as the ECMWF, what it's putting out right now. It's actually showing a relatively weak typhoon there, striking Miyako-jima early morning Friday before continuing to push off there into the Taipei area. Like I said, a lot of factors still coming into play here, but given the consensus, because GFS, if we pull that up, this is at the same time from the GFS model south of Okinawa. I know out here you're pretty worried about it, and you should keep a close eye on it. Now, granted, this is still keeping it at a relatively weak intensity as far as typhoons go, but it could be our first typhoon of the season. We're talking about the population areas down here in Miyako-jima, though, and also we're towards Taipei, because let's look ahead through the end of the work week into the weekend. It does continue to skirt the northern portions of the island. All these areas relatively close together, and given that this is still a week out, we still have a lot of time to continue to watch it, but also given that it is still a week out, we still have these model consensus in play here. And this is actually the most recent model run from a 06 UTC. It shows it a little bit stronger here going through Saturday. But we have this consistency with the different models. When you see that, even in the long range, then you really have to take notice, and it at least makes it somewhat confident as far as the track. So right now it does look like that westerly progression pushing off there around the southern Japanese islands, northern Taiwan. But as I showed here in my map I just put up a second ago, it could waver farther towards the north or towards the south. But that is all for right now, everybody. We're still dealing with the rainy season front if you are there in Korea. That video I showed you at the beginning, that is video I shot here in Tokyo today. Some storms blowing up. Also monsoonal flow continuing to pound most of the Philippines out here. So thunderstorm activity is definitely in your forecast. Even over through Vietnam and also into Thailand and also Malaysia, continuing to see those rain showers and thunderstorms. That is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them into the comment box below. And as always, stay safe out there.